Hello everybody, I'm Chase Evans and today I'll be going over my presentation over Green's airline region. First off, let's discuss some basic facts about this presentation. I'm auditing the Green Airport Company out of Portland, Maine. The company had 300 near misses in total. They also had 4 reports of first aids throughout the year. They also had 7 recordables throughout the year. This information will help you understand the charts we're about to go over. So on this first graph, we're looking at the number of group members versus non-group members. So the first thing I noticed is the number of non-group members is 53%, which is 158 people, and the number of group members are 142 people. These are the group members, or the group members part of out of the safety organization or like designated people, and the rest are just regular workers. They're all workers, but these are just a certain type of worker. So this next chart is it's a bar graph, and it is over the accumulated annual near misses, recordables, and first aids. So let's first look at the near misses here. January through May, we have, or excuse me, January, February, March, April, we have 15 near misses. June 19, July 20, August 30, September 30, October, so on and so forth, 40, 41. So the biggest takeaway is that the number of near misses is higher later in the year. Let's shift gears to these recordables here. Right off the bat, January, we have 3 recordables, which is an indicator that the start of the year is bad because people are not in the right state of mind. They don't have their focus on their jobs at hand, which lead to these recordables here, with January being 3, February 1, March, April, May all being 1, and then it dies. And then we have just 4 first aids right here in the summer months. So now let's go over monthly near miss tracking. This chart goes over the different number of near misses throughout each month, the number of near misses per month. So it looks like January we had 15, February 15, March 15, April 15. Then it bumps up to 19 in May, 20 in June, and 30 in July. So there's obviously a big jump here in the summer months. And then August, September, and October all had 30. Then a big jump here to 40 and 41 near misses. This is definitely a problem area that we need to look at. Now, this chart tells me a lot. This is the time of day that the near misses occurred. So here's your early hours in the morning, which we have very little near misses because I believe less people work during these hours. But then you get to your 7 a.m. mark, and you've had 10 near misses at this time that have occurred. And then we jump around to 9 a.m. where we had our peak, which is at 30 near misses. This tells me that these people are just getting into work early morning, and then their brains aren't where they're supposed to be, and then these near misses are occurring. Then throughout the day, dips up and down, and near misses occur throughout the day as well, when I'm assuming more staff is present. And then about after 5 o'clock, the near misses start to dot down a little bit more. Now this graph is also another bar graph. It is the annual near misses total by the day of the week. So this is the number of near misses that happen during the day. So each day throughout the week. So in the whole year, there was 34 near misses that happened on Sundays. And then Monday is our biggest day yet, with 69 near misses on the Mondays throughout the year totaled. This is obviously a red flag right here. This to me shows that people are coming into work not in the right space of mind. And Tuesday's a little better than Wednesday. I feel like people are ready for the weekend to come, and then they start having more problems again. Than Thursday, they're like, okay, we're almost there. Then Friday, it goes up again. But definitely Monday is our biggest number of near misses. Now let's look at our HRI, HIRA chart. This chart goes over the different injuries or near misses that could have occurred and I broke this down into three colors: tolerable, negligible, and intolerable. Basically, what I see first off is the culture. Our near misses, I broke down each near miss, and the culture is definitely one of the biggest problems that I've seen. Um, there's a lot of texting and driving, a lot of cell phone usage, and that's down to culture. That's just about caring. And if you don't, if you're not on your phone, you care, but if you're on your phone, you don't care. So that starts with the culture. And also another big one is washing your hands. A lot of people did not wash their hands and stuff, so the culture has to change. The safety culture has to change as well. Towing equipment use is next. This is a big one too. There's a lot of the intolerable injuries are in this area that could have happened, such as hydraulic presses, people putting their hands in them while they're operating, and different other stuff like that. Trash compactors, people putting their hands in trash compactors. Stuff that can be easily prevented if people understand what they're doing. So next is material handling. I've noticed there's a lot of spilling stuff, such as oil, gasoline, diesel, that can be treated better than what they're doing right now. PPE's next. Lots of no gloves, lots of no hearing protection, and that can cause some serious problems later down the line if they do not handle that. Ergonomics is next, followed by mobile equipment. Mobile equipment, I could have either scored higher or lower, honestly. A bunch of the problems that occur from the mobile equipment also happen in the culture with people on their cell phones and having like just distracted on their phones, and that shouldn't be unacceptable. Next is walking working surfaces, um, such as uneven concrete. I've seen a lot of people trips, falls, and also clutter. There's been a lot of clutter in the workplace too. Temperature is another big one. In the summer, they get heat stroke. I've noticed that quite a bit. And then in the winter, they get hypothermia or hypothermic, and they shiver, and it's no good for anyone. The electrical's next, followed by emergency prep. Now this one I've noticed more times than I would like to say. Um, Throughout reading the near misses, I noticed that there were certain near misses where the emergency prep spill kits and other emergency prep items were not full, that they were missing some parts of their prep. This has to be fixed. This is honestly intolerable. This is something that could be avoided. Next up is chemical. Then passengers I added on here because for some reason the passengers are always doing something. So these passengers also like throwing cigarettes at people, which is burning our employees and stuff. So falling objects is next, followed by guarding and scaffolding. I've seen 4 of these near misses throughout the year, and these near misses are such as not tying down on scaffolding or the scaffolding is not placed properly. This stuff can be fixed. Followed by fire, insects, diabetic, bloodborne pathogens, burn, excavation, and dust. Now let's look at our occupational incident rate by month. You can see January we start off strong, which is a really bad start for anything with a 30.53. We've had 3 recordables in the month of January. Then in the month of February, it drops back down. March drops back down even more. And then after that, it continues dropping because we have no recordables throughout these months right here. Now that we reviewed our statistics and charts, it's time to look into our top 5 near misses as well as all of our recordables. So my first near miss that I'm going to be going over, and this is in no order at all, but it is over excavation with being 9 points. So how the point system works is you have your severity and then you have your probability, and you time the number by itself. So 3 times 3, which would be 9, which would give you the number of points, the severity level of what is going on. So this near miss would be a 9. It's over excavation. And so basically what happened, these people were installing an erosion controlled fence and they needed to dig um, between 6 and 8 inches. And they did get the proper permits and stuff, but the permits said no underground utilities, which did not become the case. That actually There was underground utilities and electric cable was discovered. And so this group of individuals, workers, almost hit this electric cable, but thankfully they did not. But this is definitely a near miss that it should have been prevented. So now let's go look at some of the other more severe ones as well. So next one, a tool/equipment use. I give this one 16 points. Reason being, there's a 4 probability and a 4 severity. This near miss was employee was using a hydraulic press while putting their hands in it. This is unacceptable, and this is a total severity because this is going to lead to a total loss of a hand, crushing the hand, or an amputation. Next, we're going to look at tool equipment use. This is another 16 points, 14 or 4 probability and 4 severity. This is pretty much like the hydraulic press, but this employee was using his hand in the trash compactor. This is another intolerable. This can be easily prevented if the employee understands what he's doing wrong. Next, tool equipment use as well. Again, this is 8 points. It's a 4 probability and a 2 severity. Using proper tubing materials and pressure rated the supplies gas from the cylinder to laboratory equipment. So the incorrect tubing was used on the gas cylinders. This could be very bad. This can lead to explosions. This can lead to pressure changes, which can also lead to explosions as well. So this is why it's on this list. The next near miss we'll be looking at is over fire. This is 9 points. It's a 3 probability and a 3 severity. This was over a smoke was observed outside or observed inside of a working hangar, and one of the workers noticed that the smoke was coming, and this smoke was actually from a fire that started and spreaded to these bags. Well, these bags were pesticides, which in turn led to a toxic smoke in the air. So the hazard would be inhalation of toxic hazard, which is bad to breathe. So yeah. So now let's analyze each of them briefly. So this is the excavation one. Why did I score it so high? Well, because snagging an underground utility line can lead to electrical hazards, fires, and severe interruptions, posing significant risk and safety to operations. Can this be controlled? Yes. Improve site surveys. Conduct thorough and accurate survey site to identify all underground utilities have been checked before starting work. Next, clear excavation permits. Ensure that excavation permits are clearly defined and accurate, indicating these presence of underground utilities. Training. This is a big one. Provide training to workers throughout the importance of checking the underground utilities. Tell them it's important. Explain to them what can go wrong and show them pictures or examples of what could go wrong. Let's look at our next one. This one goes back to the hydraulic press while it's running. Why did I score this so high? Well, because it can result in severe injuries such as crushing or amputation, like I stated earlier, which can cause life-threatening or permanent damage. No one wants to be amputated, so that's why I made a severity 4. Can this be controlled? Yes, it can. Safety interlocks. Install safety interlocks that prevent the press from operating when hands are detected in the danger zone. That's nice. Training and supervision. Implement rigorous training programs and supervision to ensure proper usage of equipment. Don't let people use the equipment if they don't know how to use it properly. That should be a given. Signage and safety protocols. Place clear signage and enforce strict safety protocols to prevent such actions. Add disciplinary actions if these actions continue. Next up, let's about the proper tubing and material. I rated this one a severity 2 because incorrect tubing can lead to gas leaks or failures, posing significant but not necessary catastrophic risk. I'm going to add something right now that I just noticed. I'm going to add that this can be a risk if the pressure builds up in the tube. If the tube is not shut and they have the wrong gas pressure, that tube can rupture on the side, which could lead to an explosion. Can it be controlled? Yes. Material specifications. Ensure that all tubing materials and pressure ratings meet the required specification of the gas that's used. It's a big one. Regular inspections. Conduct regular inspections of gas cylinders and their connections. Training. Training personnel the importance of using correct materials and how to identify and rectify incorrect setup. Analyze. Next one. Let's go over employees using a trash compactor and putting their hands in the trash compactor while it's operating. This is severity 4 due to the high risk of severe injury, amputation, or crushing, just like the hydraulic press. Can this be controlled? Like I said with the other one, safety guards and interlocks, training and awareness, and clear signage is ways to control this risk, near miss, whatever you want to call it, hazard. Next up, fire. This goes back to the toxic smoke. I give this a severity 3 due to the inhalation toxic chemicals involved, which can cause serious health issues. Can this be controlled? Proper chemical handling training. This will ensure all personnel are trained in the proper handling of use of chemicals. Regular compliances. Use only approved chemicals to ensure compliance with local, federal regulations. Emergency procedures. Establish and participate procedures to handling chemical exposure incidents. This is big. The more you prepare for, the better off you are. So it's always good to have a safety plan in place. Always think the worst, hope for the best. So now let's go over root cause analysis. I picked one near miss to go over. The near miss I've chosen to do my root cause analysis over is tool equipment use. This is the one with the hydraulic press. Now let's look at our next slide. This is our root cause analysis for the fishbone chart that I use. So here's the measurements. So the biggest one I see is no inspections. There might have been no inspections on the machine itself, which could have led to this if the worker did not know that it was a bad way, like if there's no signage on it or nothing around this press to identify that it is a bad idea to put your hands in it. Let's go look at materials. No guarding. There could have been no guarding. Outdated parts or incorrected components. Improper tools. These go hand in hand. Personnel. This one to me is the biggest one. Poor supervision. This can make or break people's lives, honestly. If someone doesn't know what they're doing wrong and there's not a supervisor or someone watching over them to help them, then this can lead to death or serious injury. Unsafe behavior is another one. No training, lack of awareness. These are all things we can control. So let's go over to environment side of things. Distractions. Distractions can be huge. Like if you are working on the press and then someone walks up to you and distracts you and you put your hand in there, that's not fun for anyone. Poor layout is another one. Cluttered workspace, another one. Inadequate lighting. This is one I think this is a strong one to put here too, just because if you're working and you're using the press and it's dark in there and you want to get closer to the press and see what you're actually putting in it, and you put your hand in there, that can lead to this as well. So the methods would be like unclear procedures. Like if you think it's okay to put your hand within the press, it's not. There's no instructions. Like I said earlier, this can go back to like no inspections. Maybe there's no instructions how to use the machine properly. Outdated protocols, and so on and so forth. So now let's look at the machine itself. This can be no safety features. There can be no guards on this machine. That goes back to this one right here. But these no guards could lead to people thinking, oh, it's okay, let me put my hand in there. It's not the case. Inadequate guards, hand in hand, malfunction parts, poor maintenance machines. So that's kind of my root cause analysis over over the use of hydraulic presses while running. To run it down, I'd say training's a big one. Training's a big one. and supervision. Those two things can mitigate this risk greatly. So let's go over our top five near misses: direct, indirect, and total cost. So crushing. The crushing one I have selected for the near miss is the trash compactor. Plane was putting a hand using trash compactor and putting the hands on the compactor. This happened 4 times throughout the year, which is crazy. The direct cost for this was $268,012. The indirect cost would have been $294,812, and the total cost of this would have been $562,000, which is a lot of money for a company. Amputation is the next one. This was the use of the hydraulic press while it's running. This happened three times, 3 instances throughout the year, and this total cost would have been $604,000. Incorrect tubing was another one. All other specific injuries, such as like when I thought about this, I thought of an explosion or shrapnel going to their head. So this happened 2 times in the year, and this would lead to the total cost of $226,000. Next one is respiratory diseases, gas fumes, chemicals, etc. This would go back to the fire and the smoke, the inhalation toxic hazard that happened. This only happened once, thankfully, and this would only lead to a total cost of $86,000. Electrical shock was my next one. This was the excavation where the workers were found the electrical cable. Thank goodness they didn't rupture it or nothing, but this could have led to electrical shock, and this happened one time. With the excavation, it only happened one time. We had other hazards with dealing with electrical shock, but the excavation was the one I selected to use over this one. And this total cost would have been $332,000. All these costs are outrageous and can be totally prevented. So now let's rank the top five near misses. Amputation is number one with a $604,818. Crushing is number two, $562,824. Electrical shock with $332,257. Next up is the tubing one. This led to $226,610, which is the shrapnel and other things. And number five was respiratory disorder. This was the smoke. This led to $86,127. Now that we looked at the near misses, let's compare them to our recordables that actually happened. So these are the 7 recordables that happened throughout the year. So we had 2 cases of infection, which the direct cost $62,000, indirect $69,000, and the total cost was only $131,000 and some change. And then so that was case number 3 and 5 that happened, and then case number 1 was dermatitis. This only happened once. Well, total cost $21,000. Crushing, case number 2. This was $140,000. Sprain was case number 4, and this only led to a total of $64,000. And multiple physical injuries only. So this is actually a forklift crushing someone in the loading dock, and this only happened once, and this is $164,000. And then electrical shock happened as well, and that was one of the greatest ones with $332,257. Thankfully, none of these people have died, but there was days missed from work that I will be going over shortly. Now let's rank the total cost of the actual recordables. First off, electrical shock was $332,257, which is outrageous. This one was the forklift one with $164,096, and then crushing $140,706. Infection was happened 2 cases, and this led to a total of $131,884. And then the sprain, which led to $64,022, and dermatitis being our least costly, was $21,298. So this slide is going over the cost analysis between the recordables and top near misses. So The top 5 near misses would have led to a combined total of $1.8 million. Million. And that was only for 5 near misses. And we had 7 recordables, and that only led to a combined total of $854,263 that we had to pay. That we had to play. So the cost difference between the two seems staggering. The potential cost that near misses could cause that have become an accident are outrageous. This highlights how the company is to a costly mistake. This is how close the company could be to a costly mistake. The recordables are almost 1 million less than potential cost that the near misses could occur. And guys, this is only a sample of 5 near misses. Imagine totaling up the total of the 300 near misses. That number would be outrageous. So let's look over and change gears here. Let's go to a buying analysis. So this is a decision against either buying or working for this airport, and my decision is not to buy or work for this airport. After carefully looking into this airport, I've decided it's not a good idea for me to work or buy this company. Here's why. First off, poor safety program. The biggest reason is the lack of solid safety program during my review. I found many repeat near misses, such incidents. This indicates struggles that company's safety culture is not strong. Changing a company's culture takes a lot of time and effort, which makes me hesitant. Okay, number 2, inaccurate OSHA logs. As I also looked at the OSHA logs 300 and 301 forms, I found many mistakes. These forms are essential for tracking workplace safety, and errors in them show that the company might not be handling safety issues properly. I'll explain these mistakes later on in the next few slides. Number 3, financial problems. This company seems to have serious financial issues. With so many near misses / incidents, there's a high risk that some of them could turn into actual accidents / recordables, and this could lead to a financial disaster. The top 5 near misses alone cost over $1 million. That would have cost over $1 million, which is a risk I'm not willing to take. So now let's go over the mistakes I found in the OSHA 300 logs and 301 logs. So the first mistake I've noticed right off the bat was the case numbers were wrong. It goes 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 5, 6, and it's not how. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. And I also noticed that they're completely missing someone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 people here. And there's only 6 people here. Think about that. Next, the days away from work are not totaled up. They're missing. They did not add up all the total numbers of days away from work. And also, the number should say totaled up to 6, not 7, not 6. 4, 5, 6. Because there was another infection that occurred that is not on here. Number 5, the number of cases is off. These were not totaled up here, and the days away from work are not on here. So it says total number of days away from work. It's not filled out. There should be a total of these numbers right here put into here. So it's in here, total number of days away from work. Not on here. Nextly, this is another thing I noticed. Still says there's only 6 people. 4, 5, 6 should say 7. Should be 2 right here for the infection. And numbers. The next thing I've noticed that the information should be filled out under this establishment information section. They did not. The company did not fill out any information. They did not fill out the name, the street, the city, the state, the zip code. Nothing. No phone numbers. Nothing. Next one I found the case numbers are not right on most of the forms. So this is looking at the OSHA form 301. So here's the OSHA log 300, and it shows all the case numbers which are wrong to begin with. But this is even wrong in another case. See, this is this person right here. It says their case number is number 2. But in their form 301, it shows number 3. This is wrong. And actually, all the other OSHA 301 forms state that the zip code is 4103. and this one states as 4106, which is wrong. The next mistake, the date is not filled out correctly. 205 is not a correct date for this time period whatsoever. Um, Also, looking through all the 301s, I've noticed that there was only 6 forms. There should have been 7. They completely missed this person. They don't even have a form filled out. And also, I would like to state that there are multiple spelling errors throughout each form. But here's an example of one of the forms that I noticed right off the bat. Step of forklift, it should say step off forklift as a misspelling, and that just shows lack of care for these forms, and they need to be filled out better. So now let's go over a summary. In summary, there are numerous recording errors, including incorrect case numbers, wrong dates, and even the ominous of the omission of a 301 form for an individual. These repeated mistakes and incomplete forms indicate the lack of diligence and care in maintaining accurate records. This pattern of errors strongly suggests that the company does not prioritize proper documentation practices. Yeah, it's a bunch of laziness on their part, and they do not care to have proper documentation. It's Next question: is a safety person needed? After reviewing all the data, I strongly believe that a safety person is definitely needed. A safety professional can address many of the problems that are occurring at Green's airline region. Um, they can fix the issue of improper paperwork and ensure that all safety forms are accurate and complete and maintained. Additionally, they can keep track of all near misses and develop strategies to mitigate them from happening. They would save you a lot of money. A safety person can also shift the culture around safety, emphasizing that it's important to all the employees. That goes back to my charts earlier with the culture. The culture is one of the biggest problems that I've noticed within the near miss category. They are invaluable in ensuring that all legal requirements are met, which can save the company millions of dollars in the long run. Okay, let's look at 5 open-ended questions to think about when to help out Green Airport region. First question that I think of is, what specific changes do you believe are necessary in our current safety protocols to effectively reduce the number of near misses and prevent potential accidents? Number 2, how can we improve our safety culture to ensure that all employees are actively engaged in identifying hazards and contributing to a safer working environment? What barriers do you think exist that prevent employees from reporting near misses or unsafe conditions? And how can we address these barriers to encourage more proactive reporting? In what ways can leadership and management better support and reinforce a culture of safety to ensure that all safety practices are constantly followed and valued by all employees? And the last question, what additional resources or training do you think would be most effective in helping employees recognize and address potential hazards before they lead to a near miss or an accident? Let's transition now. Now that we've finished auditing and looking at the company, let's now think of ways we can improve our company. Let's make a wellness program for Green's Airline region to use to help improve itself. So these next 5 slides will be consisting of which is the item that your company will be focused on and why. What are the goals of the program? What is your program? What does it involve? What does the employees do? How do you get your message out, and what are the rewards? And how will you measure the results? So the program will be focus of the wellness program. We'll be addressing weekly stress in the workplace. The program will be focusing on issues of employees experiencing significant stress at least once a week. Reason for focus. Stress is a common issue affecting employees' well-being and productivity. Impact. High stress levels can lead to burnout, decreased performance, and increased absences. Need for action. By addressing stress, we can improve overall workplace morale and efficiency. Now let's look at the goals. Goal number 1, reduce the frequency and intensity of stress among employees. That's the main goal. Provide tools and resources for stress management. Foster a supportive and healthy work environment. Improve overall employee well-being and job satisfaction. and enhance productivity and re- reduce absenteeism. Now, let's look at the program outline. What the program involves: workshops, monthly stress management and mindful workshops. Resources: access to online resources and apps for meditation and relaxation. Support: establish of a peer support network and available of counseling services. Activities: regular team building activities and wellness challenges. What employees do? Well, the employees need to participate, attending workshops and engaging with the provided resources. Utilize support, make use of the peer network and counseling services. Engagement: participate in wellness challenges and team building activities. They need to provide feedback, provide regular feedback, and improve the program. Improving the program. Communication and rewards. So communication strategies: channels use email interaction and interact posters and meetings to promote the program. Regular updates, send out newsletters, tips, and success stories. And workshops: host kickoff events, regular check-ins, and maintenance monument. Rewards and incentives: recognition, acknowledge participants and progress in meetings and newsletters. Incentives: offer rewards such as gift cards, extra break time, or wellness related prizes. Competition: organize friendly competition and challenges with rewards for the winners. How will we measure these results? Well, survey feedback. Regular employees survey gauge stress levels and program satisfaction. Participation rates track attendance and engagement in workshops and activities. Um, Feedback: collect ongoing feedback to continuously improve the program. Success indicators: these are different indicators we'll be looking for. Reduce stress levels. Decrease and report stress levels in a survey. Increase productivity, participation. High constant participation rates in program activities. Improved matrix. Positive changes in esteem and productivity and health indicators. Employee feedback: positive feedback and suggestions to provide program enhancements. Um, Thank you all for listening to my presentation. I hope you learned something, and thank you.